going on, everyone? I had a headlight go out a few weeks ago, and I finally got around to tracing it to the problem, which was actually the ballast. So while I was replacing my ballast, while I had the headlight out, I also wanted to, about a year ago, I did some custom headlight work, and I kind of darkened these turn signals a little too much, basically to the point where you can't even see that I'm signaling at all. So they've been bothering me. It's not the end of the world, but they've been bothering me. So I figured while I had the headlight out fixing the ballast, I might as well basically take these back to normal, take the paint off them, strip them down while I have these headlights out. And I remember about a year ago when I was looking how to get inside these headlights, there wasn't very good information. There was a few posts with pictures, stuff like that, some write-ups. But there wasn't any videos to really explain how to get into these, and the last thing you want to do is mess these up, because everyone knows a pair of these headlights can run at least $1,000. So what I'm going to do is basically alright, so the first step, there's one little screw, one little hex screw, hex bolt under this condensation flap. That'll be your first step. Just take that little guy out. And that's the only screw you have to worry about. As far as I know. So that's it for the screws. You can take your ballast out if you want. I had it out to begin with, and also think it's a pretty good idea, because you're going to have a heat gun around this area. Last thing you want to do is mess up your ballast with a little too much heat. So go ahead and take it out if you want. It's only 4 bolts. There's also a little flap here. Pretty simple, just 2 little clips. Comes right out. Alright, after that, I have a heat gun here. I'm using the heat gun method, by the way. You can also do this in the oven. I've never done it that way. You know, something about putting a headlight in the oven, which I don't feel too safe doing. But you can definitely do it. Just, you know, take it easy. So I have a heat gun here. It's pretty old. You know, you can get these wherever. I'm going to keep it on a low setting. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of push some hot air around here. Get the headlight used to the hot temp. Alright, the next thing you want to do after you've kind of heated it up, basically still with your heat gun, just, you know, about 6 inches away or whatever. And I recommend a low setting on your heat gun. You don't want to use too much heat. And just go along the seam here. Basically, you're just going to go all the way around the whole headlight. Slowly, I'll show you. And, you know, these clips, don't worry about, you know, popping them off right now. Just kind of pop them off as you go. What I found is that if you kind of concentrate more in one area, maybe like a half of the headlight or like this top kind of corner, you know, get that side loose. And then as you start to pull, once you have one side that's you know, separating, it makes it a lot easier. The rest of the headlight will just come off the base with it, instead of trying to like pry around and, you know, get each side evenly. Just pick a spot. I recommend this corner up here, and you know, I mean, still as you go, make sure you get the whole thing. You don't want to just do one spot, but concentrate more on one spot, and we'll take it from there. All right. So just kind of slowly, you know. You definitely don't want to spend too much time in one spot. You're better safe than sorry. And I'm doing this a little quick just to show you, but, you know, take it slow. Be careful about these clips. Be careful about these clips, alright? You don't want them to break off. So just be careful when you're resting it in different positions. Alright, once you've heated it up for a few minutes, you just take your flathead screwdriver. Any flathead should work fine. I use a short one. If you have a plastic one, that's probably even better. Should be strong enough. But anyway, all you have to do is basically just kind of get up in there. You can give it a little twist. You know, just be careful. You don't want to break the headlight. You can give it a little pry. You can see it's kind of coming loose there. A little pry or a little twist is all it's going to take, and you just basically do that. You can see it already kind of coming out here. That's why I concentrate over here. It's definitely a lot easier, I've found. I've done this a few times. You know, when you get to the clips, just unlatch them. Then give a little pry. It's not the end of the world if you break them, but you know, you obviously want to try and keep them there, else condensation might get in the headlights, which isn't fun. Yeah, it's really coming loose down here. And I've also done this, because I've done this a few times, I re-adhesive them when I put them back together, so I used my own glue. But I did a pretty good job. You know, the first time was a little bit more difficult with the, you know, BMW adhesive, but it's still exactly the same process. It just takes a little bit of time. Alright, so I've been going around doing this maybe 4 or 5 times, kind of prying and heating, prying and heating, and I made some pretty good progress. Just remember that if you're ever having a problem, definitely turn towards the heat first, then strength second. You know, it's real easy to just not put the time in and pry it open, but you're probably going to break something. So just take it easy, use more heat, and eventually it'll come off a lot easier. So when you eventually get to the point where it's you know, it's getting a lot easier when you're prying with the screwdriver, it's getting a lot easier. You're really starting to see it open up. Just continue to heat it, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to basically pull it open, and the best spot I found is this little edge right here. Makes a good spot to kind of pull. It's hard to do it on this side because you don't really have anything to grab onto. So what you're going to see me do is kind of start on this side and, you know, slowly kind of wedge it, and then stop, give it a little bit more heat, pull it apart, stop, give it a little bit more heat, until eventually the whole thing, you'll see, will just start to open up. And just remember that these clips are unhooked. You know, how many times have you been in this situation where you're trying to get something on these cars open or whatever taken out, and you're trying as hard as you can, and you realize, like, oh my god, why can't I get this? And oh, there's a screw left in, or oh, there's a clip left on. So I've done that quite a few times. I'm sure you have also. But just make sure that all these clips are eventually off the hinge. So I'm just going to start here. Kind of pull. See how easy that is? About a minute ago, it wasn't this easy at all. See what a little heat can do? Oh yeah, see? That's what I'm talking about. And just be careful because there is some wires connected inside this corner bulb, and some of these have wires. So just be careful, take it really easy. You know, you're in no rush. Don't do this when you're on a time schedule. And you know, basically just work your way around. Yes, look how easy, look how much heat affects that. See that? The glue just starts to disappear. You know, just continue to be careful. Take your time. It'll all come loose eventually. Alright, so I just heat it up a little bit more. Let's go for the final pull here. It shouldn't take much at all. Yeah, this will come off. This hinge over here, just be careful for. You can kind of just pry it through with your thumb. And just be careful, there's wires still connected inside. Oh yeah. Just be careful, there's a little wire right here. So basically that's it. Just be careful. This this guy will be screwed in right here. This cord right here is attached to that, so just be careful. Make sure you pull this guy out from that board, alright, or else you could have some problems, some errors thrown or whatever. But basically that's it. Yeah, just like I said, be careful, take your time. Patience is key. And remember, use more heat if you're not sure, or you don't want, just don't push too hard, all right? Because you're gonna break these. Now what I have to do next is take this guy out here, and basically you just get rid of that paint because I don't like this dark look anymore. All right. I'm just doing this whole thing on the fly, so sorry for the sketchy setup and everything like that. But I'm just going to basically take you through how I open these up, alright?